All right, this week we're going to be reviewing point of view as our focus for our weekly vocabulary. Follow along, take notes, be ready to answer questions. This week's terms include point of view, first person point of view, second person point of view, third person point of view, third person omniscient point of view, third person limited point of view, narrator, unreliable narrator, perspective, and opinion. Our first term today is point of view. The definition of point of view is that it is the position from which a narrator tells a story. Point of view can be in first, second, or third person points of view. In our little graphic on the side, it shows some differences between first person, second person, and third person point of view. We'll be looking at those more specifically in a moment. Definition number 2 is for first-person point of view. The definition of first-person point of view is that it is a writing style where the narrator is one of the characters in the story. First-person point of view uses pronouns like I, me, or my. In our graphic, it shows I, my, and me, and gives the example, I wonder what my friends are talking about. Are Liam and Emma making plans to do something fun without me? You're seeing that that's in first person because of those pronouns I, my, and me. Coming up to term number 3. Term number 3 is second person point of view. One of the points of view that you don't see quite as often. The definition for second person point of view is it is a writing style where the narrator speaks to the reader directly, often using the word you. In the graphic on the right, it says first person, we see I and we. Second person, you see you. Third person, he, she, it, and they. Second person point of view again comes up very less so than other points of view. You'll see it in things like instruction manuals and things that are asking you or showing you how to do something. You'll also kind of see it in choose your own adventure style writing, where you may get to pick how things are going, or where the author is speaking directly to you as the audience. Next up is third person point of view. Third person point of view is a writing style where the narration is not done by one of the characters. The narrator is outside of the story. The narrator often uses the pronouns he, she, or it. Pay attention to this one. The narrator is outside of the story. It's not coming directly from a person's perspective like first person. It's coming from a narrator outside of everything. On our graphic on the side, it says, what is third person? This style of writing is most commonly used when the writer is telling a story from somebody else's point of view. That is to say, it's as though the writer is an outsider looking in, recounting the events that happened to the individual or group of individuals, but the writer themselves did not actually experience those events. Let's move on to term number 5. Term number 5 is third person omniscient point of view. The key word to remember here is omniscient. Omniscient means they know everything. They're able to see everything. In this type of writing, the third person narrator knows the thoughts and feelings of every character in the story. On our picture over here, it shows the author kind of like looking down at the people in the story. They're telling the events from afar. It says, brings to life and develops an entire world of characters, relates information about each character that the characters might not even know about each other, and it's useful for introducing the reader to a plethora of characters. If you have a story that has a lot of different characters in it, or a lot of different people involved in the story, it may be told in third-person omniscient point of view. Term number 6, third-person limited point of view. Key term here being limited to differentiate it from the others. The definition of this is that the third person narrator only knows the thoughts and feelings of one character. They're outside of the story, but can still focus in on that one character. So when we're comparing the two over here, it says for omniscient, the author has no bias or preference. They have a full knowledge of all the characters in all situations. But in a limited third-person point of view, they only know what's going on inside the heart and mind of one person. Their perspective is limited. You're going to focus really deeply in on one character, but there's going to be other characters that you don't know all their details or what's going on in their heads. Moving to term number 7. And removing this. Term number 7 is narrator. The narrator is the person or character who tells a story. So narrator is a pretty easy one. It's the person or voice telling the story to the reader. There are two main types. We usually see our first-person narrator as the person in the story telling us what's happening to them. A third-person narrator is a narrator who is outside of the action of the story, kind of like we just looked at with third-person limited and third-person omniscient. It's the voice telling the story. Term number 8 is our unreliable narrator. An unreliable narrator is unreliable and may not know all information or may intentionally mislead you or lead you as the reader astray. In the picture over here, it says an unreliable narrator is a storyteller whose credibility has been compromised. This is because they may withhold information, lie to, or trick you intentionally. This may be in something like a mystery story. They may present different things to try to mislead you or take you off the path of guessing things before they're actually supposed to happen. Keep in mind, narrator may be unreliable at times. Number 9, the term is perspective. Perspective is the way you see something or your viewpoint. So looking up here, the difference between point of view is who is telling the story. Perspective is how the story is being told. Perspective is the lens through which the story is told. Think about it like this. If you were wearing a pair of glasses, which character's glasses are you wearing? Through whose lenses do you see the world? When we understand a character's perspective, we get to walk in the shoes of that character. So point of view, you're keeping in mind, that's first, second, third person point of view. Perspective is more you looking through or trying to understand that character, you walking in that character's shoes. You're seeing things from their perspective. It's a little bit different from point of view, so keep that in mind. Next up, we're going to go to opinion. This will close off our list of vocabulary words for this week. Opinion is a belief or attitude about something that isn't always based on facts. It's often how you feel about something. And it's important to differentiate the difference between fact and opinion. A fact is a true statement that you can prove. Keywords over here, you're going to use things like dates, numbers, science, historical events, nonfiction information to back up your facts and to show that they are irrefutably true. An opinion is someone's idea or feeling about something. So in this, you're going to see more language having to do with feelings, beliefs, preferences, the way they think. Opinions are still valid. It's just that they cannot always be 100% backed up. So keep in mind that that is the difference between fact and opinion. It's often how you feel about something. Those are our 10 words and definitions for the week. You may have some questions come up here to answer here in just a moment. Thank you for going through these words and definitions, and we'll see you next week.